afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Facebook Live post on the occasion of the full moon, Monday night, September the 20th. We're here in the Bay Guest Lodge next to the zone on the seafront of Moran Point, just looking out on the sea here behind us. And with me tonight I've got Brenda Bernahan, a sound vibration healing therapist from Pure Reflections in Dundalk. And Brenda's going to be drumming for us to bring us into a deeper meditation state for the meditation with Archangel Uriel. We're here in the Clockmore Street, and as you can see, the energies we are utilising tonight, first of all, is the water behind us and the energy coming from Brenda with the drumming. We've also got the energy of fire, and we've got the flames here, the violet flame here, the transmutation one, because we will be doing some transmutation. We've got the moon goddess flame, full moon, and we've got the Archangel Uriel flame. And we also have the moon, full moon energy. So a lot of energies tonight. And the topic we're going to be talking about is the ego. How it works, first of all what it is, how it works, and how we deal with it. Because we can't deal with it until we know what it is and until we know how it works. So, first of all, well, what is the ego? We often say that someone has got a big head about them, that they're very full of themselves, that they're arrogant, they're pompous, they always have to have the last word. And we call that the ego. And yes, that is all ego stuff. But that stuff is not all the ego. And we sometimes fail to recognise or know what the ego is. And we need to know what it is, because it is the ego that is keeping us stuck very firmly in this third dimension energy vibration level. It's the ego that's keeping us here. So we need to know what it is. First of all, editing God out. E-G-O. That is what the ego really is. Editing God out. And that is all third dimensional stuff. And that's where the ego totally and completely belongs, in this third dimension. Living in ego land means living in duality. And living in duality means living in separation, in the belief that we are separate, apart from the one great universal energy we call God, and not part of that energy. And because the ego makes us believe that we are separate from the God energy, we then believe, we see ourselves as paddling our own canoes as individuals. We are on our own, we are separate, and then we believe we have to fight and struggle for everything in our lives, and we have to compete for what we need. Hence all these wars, all the violence, all the fear, all so rampant here on planet Earth on this third dimension level. And the ego, it's the ego that tells us we are not good enough. We need to always be right. We need to always be in control. And that we live in a world of scarcity and want, and of course, loss and death. So in this third dimension level, as you can see, it is the ego that is in control. It's running rampant, it's unchecked, it's freelancing. That's third dimension. But in the fifth dimension, the ego is totally irrelevant, has no influence whatsoever, has been completely annihilated. So the journey of the soul from the third dimension energy level to the fifth dimension level is the story of the soul experiencing the decreasing, the declining, the diminishing, and eventually a total annihilation of the ego. The fifth dimension is unconditional love. So the soul journey from the third and fifth dimension is the journey of the soul into unconditional love. And that takes a very long time. You just don't wake up some morning and realise, oh, I'm in the fifth dimension, or I've lost my ego has disappeared. It doesn't happen like that. It takes from years and years to many lifetimes, because the soul is working its way up through the lower three chakras, the 3 chakras of survival, and then up through the 4 higher chakras, the chakras of co-creation in the one great universal God consciousness. And those chakras have thousands of petals within each of them, like a lotus. And one petal can take many lifetimes to work through, because we're working through the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's the Kundalini energy rising, and it will take many, many, many lifetimes. Now, most people on this earth at the moment are in the 3rd dimension, obviously, because that's why we came here to be here, because we are 3rd dimensional players playing on this 3rd dimensional playing field. Now, lots of people have made it into the 4th dimension with this great awakening that's happening, and millions more every day are going into the 4th dimension. But only very few people, if even that, are able to remain physically in human form on this earth and be in the 5th dimension at the same time. Now, why do I say that? Simply because the 5th dimension is where the ego has no input or no influence, where we know there's no need for struggle, because we know everything is freely available. All is in the flow of the one great universal God energy. No need to control, no need to dominate, no need to always be right, no need to have the last word, to criticise, to judge, to condemn. We just go with the flow in the great one God energy, in total, absolute and complete trust. Knowing that all is good, all is well, all is as it should be. And everything that happens is a vital part of the evolution of humanity. Total trust. And that is just so hard to do, because the ego keeps pulling us back down again to this 3rd dimension through anger and fear and finger pointing and blaming and criticising and judging and reacting negatively. Now, think of an onion. All those layers that must be peeled back to get to the core, the heart of the onion. The heart, the core, nesting deep inside all those layers. Unseen, hidden, but definitely there. So too, to get to the core of our being, of our very beingness, the heart of our very beingness, your pure heart, you need to peel back the layers of the ego. It's the ego that is hiding your core, your heart, preventing you from getting out of this 3rd dimension and ascending into the 4th and 5th dimension. And the ego fights for survival. It's not going to go quietly. So that journey is a very, very long, a very, very difficult one. When you get to the upper 4th level and the 5th dimension, the ego is finished. The ego is no more. As I said, it's not going to go quietly. Now, the core of your being, the very heart of you, is unconditional love. That's what you are, the deepest part of you. Your pure God essence, nesting within all those layers of the ego. All those layers hiding your pure core essence. Unconditional love is not a feeling, it's a vibration, a dimension. Dimensions are vibrations. They don't exist up there or down there or over there or over there. They exist deep within inside each one of us. You know, we talk about raising our vibration, but what we're actually doing is we're going deeper inside ourselves to access the depths that are in there. It's the depths of our beingness that are the dimensions, the very core of our being. We're extending downwards through ourselves, deep down inside ourselves, extending, expanding, reaching through all those dimensions which are inside of us, like the layers of the onion, which must be stripped away to get to the core. And it is in this sense that we are known and we are multi-dimensional beings. We are going deep within the dimensions within each one of us to get to the core, the heart of unconditional love, which is what we truly are. And when we access that deepest level inside ourselves, that dimension of unconditional love, then we are on the fifth dimension. We are in the vastness of the one unlimited, great, universal God energy, where everything is available to us freely, where we have totally transcended all this third dimensional stuff. We are no longer struggling in a small pond with all the other great fish struggling for food and for survival. We are flying freely in the unlimited, great, universal God energy. The fifth dimension, where the ego has no influence, where you are free and liberated from the limits of this third dimension, where you understand that everything, absolutely everything that happens, is a vital part and is playing a vital role in the evolution of humanity. And when you get to that stage, when you've transcended all the third dimension stuff, when you can honestly say without doubt that you know that you are living in total trust, when you can say without doubt that in the midst of all this negativity, all this turmoil, all this fear, when you can say, and honestly mean it, when you can say all is well, all is good, everything is as it should be, then you are in the oneness. You are in the one great universal God energy. You are on the fifth dimension, where you know only unconditional love, total acceptance, no criticism, no judgment, no condemnation, no fear, no anger, no finger pointing, no negative reactions, no matter what horrific things happen, because you know and you accept that everything is just as it should be. Total trust in the divine plan for humanity. Everything unfolding exactly as it should. Now you can see why I said a few moments ago that very few people can actually extend into the fifth dimension while on this earth vibration. Yes, we can say all of this. Words are easy. And we may indeed feel at times that we are in total trust and that we have transcended all this third dimensional stuff. And then something happens and we're pushed back down again, or pulled back down again by the ego. Back down into reacting with anger and judgment and finger pointing. Staying in the fifth dimension while still on this earth is very, very difficult. Even when something awful happens, we say, oh, isn't that awful? You see what I said? That's third dimensional stuff. There's no, oh, isn't that awful, in the fifth dimension. See how easy it is to be pulled down. And the only way you can survive on the fifth dimension and still stay in this world is to go and live in a cave somewhere. Or where are you going to find the cave? And have somebody drop supplies down to you every so often. That's the only way you can do it. And if any of us can do that. It's so difficult to stay in that fifth dimension while the ego is constantly pulling you back down. Now we're ready for the meditation with Archangel Uriel. We're going to strip back the layers with Archangel Uriel to get to the very core of our beingness, unconditional love, just like the onion, what we truly are. And why Archangel Uriel? Well, just as we all have a divine purpose for our soul's journey on earth, so too the higher beings of light, the archangels and ascended masters, they all have their assignment for the evolution of humanity and for the ascension of humanity. They're all on it, they're all over it, and sometimes, I have to admit, it does seem like they aren't. Oops, what have I done? See what I've just said? I've allowed the ego to pull me back down into third dimension. There's no, sometimes it doesn't like it in the fifth dimension. So you see, we've got to be so careful, every word we utter, every thought we send out, we've got to be so careful that we're not being pulled down into the third dimension again. Now remember, nothing is outside of us. Everything is within. Knowledge and wisdom is all within us. We just need to remember it. For the moment, we're suffering from a severe case of amnesia, most of us. And why Archangel Uriel? Because Archangel Uriel is holding and vibrating frequencies for all of us to expand and awaken into the memory of our own inner knowing and wisdom, into the memory of love and our own soul's highest creation, deep down within ourselves. And Uriel carries the flame of wisdom to assist us to emerge from the caterpillar that crawls along the ground into the beautiful butterfly of freedom. Because we are accessing our own core beingness. We are going within to our very depths to access that jewel that lies at the core of our being, unconditional love. So let us start. Brenda, when you're ready, please. Brenda's going to bring us into a deeper meditation state. I just listen to the sound of the drum. Let the sound reverberate through you, and let it bring you into a deeper state of meditation. And first, of course, as always, we need to ground and protect. So we'll ground first of all. See the roots going from the soles of your feet right down into Mother Earth, into the beautiful feminine love energy of Mother Earth. And feel yourself really, really strongly grounded in that energy. And now we draw the white light of Holy Spirit around us to protect us. We invoke the blue cloak of Archangel Michael, and we place ourselves within the six-pointed star. And now we need to raise our vibration in order to connect with Archangel Uriel, who comes to us on the blazing gold and purple ray. So bring yourself up from the chair, very slowly, very gradually, up towards your crown chakra, up into your body of energy, into your body of light. Very slowly. And as you come upwards, feel yourself getting lighter and lighter and brighter and brighter. Send your thought and your intention to connect with Archangel Uriel out into the ether. And as you do that, you are attracting Archangel Uriel's powerful energy back to yourself, coming on the magnificent blazing gold and purple ray. Feel that powerful energy gather in around you. Know that it is happening. Relax into that beautiful, powerful energy. Archangel Uriel comes before you. That magnificent gold and purple ray spreading through your every cell, into the deepest part of you, through all your dimensions. We now ask Archangel Uriel to peel away the first layer, the outer layer of our ego, just like the onion. This is the layer that tells us we are separate from the one great universal energy we call God. We are living in duality, in separateness. Watch as this outer layer, the layer of separation and duality, is peeled away by Archangel Uriel. Now gather the peelings in your hands and throw it all into the violet flame at your feet. Watch it disappear into the violet flame. The outer layer of the ego has gone. We now ask Archangel Uriel to peel back the next layer of our ego. This is the layer of our belief in scarcity and want. Our belief that we must fight and struggle for everything. Watch as Archangel Uriel strips this layer away. Again, take the peelings in your hands and throw it all into the violet flame at your feet. And again, watch as it all dissolves. Now for the next layer of the ego. Archangel Uriel peels away the layer of fear. Fear that we are not enough. Fear of death being the end. Fear of a punishing God. Fear of losing our possessions. Fear of not having enough. Watch as this too is stripped away. Again, take the peelings in your hands, throw it all into the violet flame at your feet. And watch as this too disappears. And now for the next layer. This is the layer of greed, desire for material possessions, thinking that these are the mark of how successful we are. Archangel Uriel peels away this layer. Watch. And again, take the peelings in your hands, throw it all into the violet flame, and let it all dissolve. Now the next layer, the layer of I, me, mine. Watch as Archangel Uriel peels away this crippling, stifling layer. Again, take it in your hands and throw it into the violet flame. Now for the next layer. The layer of self-gratification. Watch as Archangel Uriel strips away this suffocating layer. Take this one in your hands and fling it into the violet flame. And watch as it disappears. We are now getting closer and closer to the core, the center of our beingness, who and what we truly are. Take a minute now to ask Archangel Uriel to strip away whatever layer you now feel still needs to be dealt with. For example, whichever one applies to you, the layers of hatred, criticism, judgment, condemnation, envy, pointing the finger, reacting to negativity and anger, always having to be right, always having to have the last word. The layer of arrogance, feeling superior to others. Watch as Archangel Uriel peels these final layers all away. Take your time and watch as this happens. Again, gather up the peelings, throw them all into the violet flame, where they will all disappear. And now for the final part of the parting of the veil. Now it's time for us to see our own beautiful heart center, our own beautiful core of our very beingness. Watch as Archangel Uriel gently pulls aside the final part of the veil, revealing the most exquisite, the most beautiful, sparkling jewel. Take this all in. See yourself as you truly are. This exquisite, beautiful, blazing, sparkling, glittering jewel, pouring out unlimited love and light to all humanity. See the magnificent blazing colours flow from this exquisite jewel that is you. Yes, this is your core, your beautiful heart center. This is what you truly are. unconditional love, stripped of all the layers of the ego, coming home to the beautiful sparkling jewel, nesting within all those layers of the ego. You have reached the inner depth of unconditional love, the core of your very beingness. You have come home. Now you can say, all is well, all is good, everything is exactly as it should be. The divine plan for humanity is working perfectly. Everything that happens is playing a vital part in the spiritual evolution and ascension of humanity. You see the greater, higher picture. You have transcended the third dimension. Feel the freedom, the liberation, the weightlessness that comes with letting go of judgment, criticism, condemnation. Living in total trust. Thank Archangel Uriel for the beautiful gift you have just received. The beautiful gift of seeing what you truly are. The beautiful gift of coming home to yourself, stripped of all those blinding layers of the ego, finding the magnificent, sparkling jewel, nesting deep within your very beingness. You have found your core being. You are home. It is now time to return to our earth dimension once again. Slowly, gently, lower your energy down into your chair again. Feel the heaviness gathering around you as you once again see life through your third dimensional vision. When you're ready, open your eyes, shake out your hands and feet, and ground yourself once more. Go forward now on your own spiritual journey, having seen what you truly are, unconditional love. The journey takes many lifetimes, so many layers to peel away. We start now, layer by layer, small steps. We will get there. We will arrive at the core of our very beingness. That's where we are going. We will access the fifth dimension of unconditional love. We will access the jewel at the very core of our beingness, deep within us. And yes, we will stumble many times, but it's only a stumble. It is not a fall. Because this process of peeling away the layers of the ego, once begun, will invariably continue. This is a one-way road. There's no reverse gear. So we keep on keeping on. Thank you for joining us. I do hope tonight's post has been of interest to you and of some benefit to you. And until we meet again, from my heart to your heart, Namaste.